Thanks, Bob. Bob's a fantastic person who helps the animals every day, just like most of us do. Who here is vegan? Want to raise your hands? Okay, great. Who here is vegetarian? Anybody? Okay. How many people have pets here, please? And how many people feed their pets vegan pet food? Okay, so some of you obviously don't feed your pets vegan pet food, but I can tell you that there's absolutely no reason whatsoever that you should not feed your cat or dog or ferret vegan pet food. For the past 26 and a half years, evolution has been making vegan pet foods, plant protein pet foods, and how we have put our foods together is by doing protein profile analysis. In other words, what we've been able to do via current science is measure the levels of all the essential proteins that are found in raw meat, and we put them in our foods in the same amount or in greater amounts to protect the systems of our dogs and cats that eat our food. And of course, we use evolution at petfoodshop.com, just like the food that we sell to our clientele around the United States, Canada, and Europe. So we sell around the US every day. We do a lot of direct deliveries to people around the country every day. And we sell to different distributors and retailers around the United States and Canada. And we hope you'll try evolution at petfoodshop.com products. A little bit about myself. I rescued my first dog when I was 5 years old. Believe it or not, it was a Great Dane. And I was a little guy, and I grabbed onto this Great Dane. It's a wonder he didn't drag me down the street. But we were able to contact the police, my parents, for me, and we found the owner and got the dog, its original owner, placed. Anyway, that was the start of my career rescuing animals. And from then on, I brought home various cats and other dogs and so forth, and birds and whatever I found. I was interested at a really early age. From then on, I jumped to age 18 when I was working a between school job selling business machines, and I walked into the back end of a slaughterhouse in Toronto. That's where I'm from. Toronto, and it was in downtown Toronto, and I walked into a huge pool of blood and animals that were hung upside down by their rectums with big meat hooks, and then I started walking through the plant and saw the horrors of what these animals go through. From then on, I started becoming a vegetarian, and that was decades ago. I don't want to tell you how many decades ago, because then I'd give away my age, and then you'd know how old I was, and wow, is that guy really that old? Well, since then, I've been continued rescuing animals. We have right now 5 cats, 2 dogs, and 30 mice. And we live trap mice. We don't kill them at our warehouse operation or at our home. And I have tanks, big tanks, where I put them in, and I look after them every day, or my wife does. And they're wonderful, wonderful little creatures to watch, and they're very friendly, and they don't bite. So that's a little bit about me. Now, what about you? What about us? Most of us are vegan. Most of us care about the animals. Most of us, I think, without exception, care about the animals, or else we wouldn't be here at this conference today. So why not feed your animals vegan pet food? And even if you don't use evolution at petfoodshop.com, I urge you strongly to use vegan pet foods for your dogs and cats. It's very important because, like the previous speaker said, you vote with your dollars. And if you're voting with your dollars, vote vegan. And sure, I'd like your business. We'd like your business. We're a strictly vegan company. We assist people all over the country. We give free pet food to the poor in our community. And we also assist the poor that are dealing with various infectious diseases and internal diseases with their dogs and cats. That's what we do. That's our dedication. Our mission is to have healthier, longer living dogs and cats. During the 1990s, during the early 1990s, the NIH conducted a study. Actually, it was during the early 80s and 90s, excuse me, where they extended the lives of dogs merely by feeding them less food. This also applied to cats as well as mice and other small animals. And they found out that by feeding dogs 25% less food, that they could extend the lives of dogs by 25%. So we designed our food partly based on that study. Now, they were using meat-based food at the NIH, and unfortunately they sacrificed those animals at the termination of the study. They arbitrarily decided that the dogs were not well enough to continue their lives. So in reality, they probably would have lived significantly longer in a normal home situation than they did in the NIH study. But the fact was that they lived 25% longer than dogs that were eating 25-30% more food. Thank you. So what we did is we developed a food that was based on all the essential proteins found in raw meat in the same concentrations or higher concentrations so that we could get better performance out of the food. And we aerate the food so that it can be readily hydrated so that you can easily feed 30% less food and fill the dog or the cat up on 30% less food. And so over the past 26 years, we've been able to follow the life expectancies of various dogs and cats. Now, I will say this, we're not always sure about the actual life expectancy of the dogs and cats that we've been feeding. But on the ones that we have known the actual ages of, we've had some of them live as long as 22 years. Those are cats. Okay, and we've had some dogs live as long as 20 years on the food, and or even a little longer, but most of them live in the normal life expectancy range, which is somewhere with dogs it would be, for us, we've seen 12, 13, 14 years old, and cats around 15 to 17 years old. But what we've proven is that cats and dogs can live a very adequate life in decent health for a prolonged period of time without any animal products at all. In addition to that, we've done experimentation using additional protein isolates that are from plant materials, the same type that we use in our pet food, but we use them in much higher concentrations to assist people that are having dogs and cats dying with cancers and various forms of organ failures. And we've been doing that service for about 17 years. Needless to say, the meat industry does not like our pet food company. I do a television program in one of the worst states in the world. Not the country, the world. It's called Minnesota. Minnesota, spelled M-E-A-N, a soda. Minnesota probably has the highest torturing and kill ratio per person of any state in the country, if not the world. And it's a very bad place for animals. And the reason why it's so bad is because there's free water in Minnesota. It's the land of 10,000 lakes. 10,000 lakes, that's the big boast of Minnesota. But a lot of that water is being poisoned by the sewage from the 1,300 confinement feeding operations and the fish hatcheries and the poultry hatcheries and the slaughterhouses in the state of Minnesota. Plus they have a huge hunting population, and they have a huge propaganda program from the meat industry, from Murder King, Kentucky Fried Killing, Dead Lobster, all those companies. You see another ad on TV about every 5 minutes. So the people in Minnesota really don't support our company very much at all. We get very little business there. Most of it is on the coast, like in California and New York State, Florida. Okay, all right. Anyways, so we get our business mostly from the coastal states, and we really appreciate that. And we appreciate your dedication to making this world a better place. And let me assure you, we are in the battle for the animals' lives. We live in a society that is entirely based on animal exploitation. This room that we're sitting in, this hotel, the roads that led to this hotel, the flights that brought us here, the cars, all based on animal exploitation. But we are doing something about it. We are making people aware of what we're doing. I speak to people everywhere, every day, in banks, grocery stores, everywhere I go, drugstores. I stop people up and I explain to them what a meatless diet is, how good it is, and how much better it tastes than the flesh, blood, and sewage burgers that they're eating. And if you will join me, I urge you to do this, because you may be the only voice that these people ever hear about what humans are doing to all the other animals and the rest of this planet. Okay? We are the voice box for the animals. Okay? If we don't speak up, if we don't speak out, we're not going to win this war. It is a war, and we have to be compassionate to the people we're speaking to, even if they say rude things to us. So, I hope you'll join me. I know we're all linked by the compassion gene. We are family. That gene inside each one of our cells, inside the nuclei of each one of our cells, the compassion gene links all of us. We are family. Okay? Don't forget it. Call me if you want help. You're trying to switch someone. I'll tell you the ways that I've switched people gladly. Okay? Don't forget about veggie burgers, veggie hot dogs, veggie chicken patties. They're the easiest way to get people to switch because they're so convenient and people are so familiar with those foods. Tell them to fry them crispy on the outside. They taste way better than the flesh, blood, and sewage version. Thank you.